you're here. Yeah, we're so glad you're here. Oh, we're so glad to be together in unity. We're so glad you're here. We're so glad you're here. Oh, you're here on a good morning. Yeah, I'm really happy that you're here. We've got an outstanding program for you today that I know that you're really going to enjoy. That's going to lift you up and blow your socks off and, blow your mind. And it's just going to be great, right? Tell the person next to you, say, this is going to be great. Is this too much of a build-up? No. All right. All right. So we have Bob and his lovely partner Shannon with us today, and they're going to be sharing the service this morning. And I'm just so excited for them to be with us. They've been on a 6-week tour, and we're their very last stop before they go home and crash. And rest. So we're really glad that you're here. We love you guys. And won't you come on up and just share your gifts and your talents? Let's give them a hand as they come.
Good morning. Wow. We are so grateful to be here, and we're probably going to crash a little bit, but mostly
a lot of it.
A lot of it. I keep saying we're going to refill the batteries. That's all. That's what we're going to do when we get home. We live in Florida, so Cocoa Beach, and 6 weeks on the road. And we were really going to support my 10th album. I know I don't look that old, but yeah, 10 albums. Thank you. We'll accept that. A couple of claps there. But we feel like I think we just saved everything for today. We saved enough in the tank, and we had a little skip in our step this morning. We actually started the morning off with our hosts in Asheville and did a little concert for them, a little couple of songs, because they hosted a house concert for us, and we were like ready to go, and they're like, do you just think you could play just a song or two on the porch? And we're like, sipping a coffee on a swing overlooking the mountains, singing a song. Yeah, okay, I think we can pull that off. So we did that.
Oh darn, right?
Yeah. Oh darn, our life is so hard. How do we manage to suffer through this? But Shannon writes. She does these talks, and she kind of channels it. You guys know about that, and I channel the songs too. I don't read music. There's no good reason I should be able to do what I'm doing. Just working on spirit and on an inner fire. So she writes a talk around 3 of my songs, and in the middle of it is going to be a little meditation, and and we're gonna really start it off with the first song, the title track of the album, which is called "New Levels, New Devils," and what that basically meant to me was that life is like a video game, and I mean the spiritual aspect. So when you get how you get to the second level of like Donkey Kong or whatever. I don't play the new video games. And it's harder. It's like, wait a minute, who are these crazy people? They're shooting at me from here now. And you feel like you're stepped back. But you really have the skills. You just need to lean in and don't get discouraged. And you can take on these crazy freaks just like you did in level 1. And then you get to level 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. And, it just keeps going. I think the aspect of spiritual work is not to make your life easier. It's just to make it richer and deeper. And so Shannon's going to share this beautiful talk. Did you want to set it up in any way? Or?
Well, I'll give you the title. It's called "Which Came First?" So you can maybe... That's a little hint from what Bob said. The title track of the new album is "New Levels, New Devils." Which came first?
That's cryptic. And I got to throw this in that when I was finishing up the album, I asked her if she would write a book that would be like a mirror to the album. And what did you say?
Sure.
And of course, the name of the album, New Levels, New Devils. I could see the book and the CD like a little package deal, the same cover, but she changed the title.
Which came first?
So you've been broken open again, hard raw, twisted and bent. Well, it's not like you've never been here before, so you cry your tears and you pick yourself.
Pick yourself up off the floor.
And you're reminded of your work again, wondering when will it ever end. Truth is that it never really does, 'cause the work of the heart is just the same.
Just the same as it ever
was. It's just new levels, new devils, old ghosts, new sins. Don't get discouraged, dig a little deeper down within. There's a different view this time around. There's a shorter distance to the ground. There's a kind of nourishing within when you take the time and you taste the tears.
Taste your tears rolling down your chin.
Don't let it just hurt you and walk away. Let it speak its truth and have a say. Remind yourself how far you come. Let it in, let it out, 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 and let it be done. It's just new levels, new devils, old ghosts, new winds. Don't get discouraged, dig a little deeper down within. Don't let it just hurt you and walk away.
Don't let it just hurt you and walk away this time.
Don't let this moment be about anything but elevating you inside. There's a different you this time around. It's a breakthrough, not a breakdown. There's a holy love that's filled your cup. There's a brighter light up in the sky.
Up in the sky.
Are you looking up? It's just new levels, new devils, new growth, old soul. And you took this pill and you swallowed it whole. It's just new levels, new devils. Can we hear the Greenville choir singing with us on this one? New levels, new devils. Everyone likes a good hum along. New levels, new devils. New levels, new devils.
New levels, new devils. So have you ever really thought about that word, devil? Anybody? Any programming that needs to be undone? Because we're here to do that this morning, okay? And without going into, this big, massive linguistics and language lesson, the origins of the word devil simply mean a being divided against itself. You guys know Dale. Yes, Dale Allen Hoffman. A being divided against itself. itself. So it's not an entity that lives in hell, it's a piece of us that creates a hell within us. Wow. So we can beautifully, at times, transmute those hellish moments of being a wounded victim to an empowered victor. Only there's no external enemy that we have to defeat or some adversary outside of us to become the victor. We simply free the internal part of us, call it the little devilish part, that fought for the victim award. That part that, cheated us out of seeing the higher potential when we're dealing with a specific situation. The part that wakes up and goes, whoa, right? So how long do we allow ourselves to retreat from the prankster until we are just so flippin' bored and tired of being the victim? Because that is our choice. That is a haunting, if you will, of our perception of who we can be. And as we complete a piece of our healing work, we begin to understand the new potential of ourselves. We start to experience a new level of becoming. And that devil begins to disappear. The hold it has starts to release. That unhealthy effect that it has on us diminishes and decays. And what do we know about something decaying? That is what creates fertile ground for growth, right? Death and decay create rebirthing. I always like to say it's always so important to remember that we never release an experience or a part of who we are through affiliation with that experience. We release how we perceive both the experience and who we are post-experience. Did you get that? We don't release the thing. We don't just forget about it. It just didn't just happen. We release how we perceive it, how we're affected by it, how we're impacted by it. So we bring in a view beyond what we could see when we were so up close and personal with the initial situation. Our perception simply changes. Who we are. Do we play the victim? Do we play the victor? That perception is what changes. So here, there's often, I always call it this delicious step that we sometimes overlook. When we release something, what happens? We create space. Yes? When we release a perception of how we view things, a belief system that we have in ourselves, we have space for something new to be created, for something new to replace that. Well, I don't know about you, but I sure as heck do not want a little devil, a little imp, a little guy running around there, a little gal running around there to infiltrate that space. I want to be very, very, very intentional about what is infused there. So maybe a new perspective or a new story rising from the ashes of hell that it felt like we trudged through to create this new version of ourselves. Whatever it is for you, that newly fertilized soil, those ashes that were created through that death and decay of that perception, that is ready for you to stand upon and plant your new potential. Fair? And when we plant, we have to bury something, right? We have to bury a seed when we plant. A seed that could only exist because of our willingness to examine things that are below the surface. And in my shamanic world, below the surface is the subconscious. It's the underworld. Whoa. It's just simply the subconscious. So that seed that we plant can sprout with a different perspective than the one that came before. And as the roots of that seed of potential spread through the mud and begin to sprout, we are the sprout. We're the sprout that's reaching for that light. We grow from that new potential of that foundation that we buried that seed with. So I'm just going to ask for, this is a quick exercise. This is like, remember when we were little and it was like 3, 2, 1, banana or apple? And whatever first thing that comes out of your mouth, that's what you got for your snack. Not Doritos or potato chips. So this is this exercise, okay? So quick, what comes to your mind? It's coming for a reason. So think about something from your past. And it can be a person, it can be a friend, a paradigm, a belief, a thought, a concept, an emotion, whatever it is, anger, grief. Think about something that you feel like you previously released. Okay? Now recall the situation that created that. And observe yourself. Observe yourself when you realized that you had an energetic shift around the thing that previously seemed unbearable. What qualities are you observing in yourself when that shift happened? When that victim energy transmuted into some victorious energy? What qualities do you recognize, do you see in yourself? It's a big one. Forgiveness. What changes did you make to recognize that you could become a new potential? That you could let go of that story, that limiting belief, that thing that you felt stuck in? What did you do for yourself so that you continued that victory lap? And how did you hold yourself accountable or challenge yourself to stay in that victory lap? The reality is, if you didn't feel like you were ready, that you were leveled up enough to kick out that little devil or that little devilish perspective, you would probably still be walking around carrying that little guy, that little gal on your shoulder, yes? Reciprocally, if you didn't feel the tug and the tests of that little devil in your consciousness, you would have absolutely no reason to become a better version of you. Fair? So which came first? The level or the devil? The devil or the level? The new sin or the new win, as Bob sang? Doesn't matter. It's like the chicken and the egg. And that's why I chose to swap the title of the book. Because when Bob writes the songs, he has a beautiful, inspired story behind it. But when I hear the song, it doesn't necessarily mean that to me, right? And it doesn't mean the same thing to you. When you hear something, you're going to receive it where you are in this moment. So that's which came first. And does it matter? I think what's most important is that we have an awareness. We have an awareness of where we are and the next steps that we choose to take with intention. So before we get into a meditation, I just want to take a moment. You remembered a part of your past. You remembered it for some reason. You recalled some changes you made, some qualities that you saw within yourself that shifted how you moved beyond feeling stuck and how you created that next version of yourself. And for a moment, whether you want to hoot and holler out loud or internally, celebrate yourself. Guys, we are so good at recognizing when somebody's going through the mud and the muck and encouraging them and holding other people accountable. Hey, I got you. What are you doing to stay on that path? But how often do we do it for our own selves? Like, we are changing every single day. And do we take any moment of that day to say, wow, good job? The awareness is so important, and celebration is, I think, even more important because we're recognizing an energy within us, an enthusiasm within us that can inspire us and motivate us and empower us to continue that path. So I want to invite that energy, if you will, of celebration into your consciousness as we move into a meditation. And feel joy, feel accomplishment, feel whatever success means to you, not in necessarily financial ways, in all ways. And as you bring those energies into your consciousness, I invite you to find yourself a comfortable position and shake out if you need to, shake up if you need to, and slowly, slowly soften your gaze. If you're comfortable closing your eyes, I invite you to see a movie behind your eyelids. Allow your third eye, your inner self, your imagination, whatever you want to call it, to come alive and to celebrate with you. As you receive and inhale, I invite you to really, really anchor in that celebratory energy. And as you exhale, send it beyond your body and into your energy field. Feel it surrounding you. Sit in celebration, not of something, but just in the energy itself. You've got this. We've got this. And in your mind, in your heart, and in your gut, I invite you to say, I've got this. And now I invite you to bring into your consciousness something today, in this moment, in this iteration of who you are today, that you would like to soften, that you would like to release in some way, that you would like to shift in yourself, in your life. If it's a thing, if it's an object, I invite you to bring it right in front of you as you are staring at it in your mind's eye, as it is staring at you. And if it's a concept, if it's a belief or a feeling or an emotion, I invite you to objectify it. Put something, create something that's representing that to you, and bring that right in front of you. Stare at it. Let it stare at you. And in the background, you see a stage. And you hear some rumblings, you hear the lights being turned on. It is a fantastical, extraordinary stage. The highest tech lighting. There's an orchestra pit underneath. You can hear everybody tuning the instruments. And before you know it, that object that you're staring at is all of a sudden center stage. And you're sitting 12 rows back in the audience. Give it the moment that it wants. Let it dance, let it scream, let it roll, let it scream at you, let it scream at the world. Let it be who it wants to be. And simply observe, allow, surrender to the experience that it is showing up as through your eyes. And I'm going to count backwards from 3 in a moment. And when I do, I invite you to stand up in your mind's eye and start walking slowly toward the stage. 3, 2, 1. Step by step. And as you walk, you realize the lights get dimmer. The music gets softer. The presence, the dancing, the embellishments begin to soften. And you find yourself standing in front of the stage, directly in front of the stage. And as you poke your eyes over the top of the stage, you realize it's soil. You take a few steps, you walk up the steps to the stage, you're standing on the edge of the stage. This is your growth edge. This is a decision point. And as you're standing on the edge of that stage, that object gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, because our fears get smaller the closer we get to them. Until you see nothing but a seed left in the center of the stage. You feel the soil under your feet, in your toes, and you begin to walk over to the seed. You pick up the seed. And 3, 2, 1, you swallow it whole. Feel compassion. Allow that seed to be planted in your heart and feel compassion. Feel love. Feel yourself surround that seed with all of your beautiful, nurturing, and nourishing energy that you can pull from the center of the galaxies, from the center of the cosmos, from the center of the earth. The truth that you know is beyond all of these words, all of these experiences. And shower that seed in your heart.
No mud, no lotus. Haven't you noticed the patterns of the pain in your past, the things that broke you, they also awoke you to the questions that you needed to ask. The sleepless nights and the dizzying heights, the dreams, some of which came true. Tough breaks, heartaches, perfect mistakes created this version of you. And everything you go through grows you, grows you, and everything you go through grows you, exposes who you are. If it hurt, it made you softer. If it was hard, it fueled the hunger. If it touched you, your heart took hold. If it was simple, it made you wise. If it was sweet, it made you smile. We've an indelible impression on your soul. Your feet, they walked, and your lips, they talked, and your hands dug around for the proof. Every look, every book, picture in your mind that you took created this version of you. And everything you go through grows you, grows you, and everything you go through grows you, exposes the roots of an endless summer, part-time temporary lovers, and the swoon of the deep blue sky. And as the time flew, you planted and gathered your truth as it passed before your eyes. And the wound is where the light gets in, revealing the masterpiece just beneath the skin. And in the glow of your own light, your petals open wide, and you bloom right where you are. And everything you go through grows you, grows you, and everything you go through grows you, exposes who you are. No man, no lotus, haven't you noticed the patterns of the pain in your past? The things that broke you, they also awoke you to the questions that you needed to ask.
So you are sitting with a seed in your heart that you have bombarded with love energy, with compassion, with understanding. It is time for you to intend. It is time for you to state the new potential that you know will grow out of that seed. Claim it, own it. Affirm it. And shower the seed with that new potential that you are going to bring into this world. That seed is going to help you grow. And with your next inhale, I invite you to send that intention through your entire body. And with the exhale, send it out into your energy field. Swim in that potential, that intention. And with your next inhale, I invite you to plant it all right back into that seed. Bring it all back in. And allow your breath, I invite you to allow your breath to reconnect to this beautiful space that you're sitting in. Feel the chair beneath you, the floor beneath you. Begin to feel your brothers and sisters in this room. And when you're ready, I invite you to open your eyes. Welcome back. As we begin to integrate our new potentials, I believe we grow and we bloom like the lotus. And to me, every petal of that lotus flower represents a moment, that growth edge moment where we make a decision to apply the lessons that we've learned to our experiences. We apply the tools. We make the decision to do something about that thing. And we unveil our new, deeply rooted potential as that flower, as that lotus begins to blossom. But then what? We might have a pretty gigantic lotus flower when all is said and done. So here's what's interesting about the lotus flower. The seed pods of the lotus release into the water and simply trust the current is going to deliver those seeds to a place that has ideal maximum growth potential. As we recognize the changes within ourselves, what do? We share with our friends. We share with our beloveds. And often others can relate to our story, and it inspires them to go, wow, maybe I can get through this thing that I'm experiencing. Maybe I can conquer this little imp. As we actualize our potential, we can become a model and provide a bit of a recipe for others to dabble with. So what other lotus flowers might have influenced your self-inquiry and your action? What other lotus flowers might begin to seed because you shared your experiences, your triumphs, your victories? I believe that a lotus petal grows for the person who shared and for the person who received that message and is inspired to take action. Author and death doula S. Kelly Harrell says, "We don't heal in isolation, but in community." So I'm going to leave you with a little bit of a challenge this week, all right? Because we left a meditation where you swallowed this seed and you set an intention, you claimed a new potential that you believe you can bring to life through you from that seed, from that experience. So at some time throughout the week, I invite you to return to that place where you're standing and you've rooted and you've showered that seed with that potential, with that love, with understanding. And see yourself becoming that new potential. Start to watch that seed sprouting and identify the qualities, whether they're internal or external, that you are going to level up, that you want to sharpen as you begin to integrate that experience into a new perception, into your new understanding. And those qualities that you want to become, those become your lotus petals. So if you like art, or if you like to imagine and bring that in, all those qualities would be written on a lotus flower. Each petal will have those qualities that you're going to step into because you said yes. And you claimed it, and you're going to own it. The second step is imagine those qualities in yourself, see yourself, observe yourself living those qualities, and begin to see the potential, the possibilities of the ripple effect that you might have in your home, in your community, in the world. And around that lotus flower, begin to see or draw those ripples. Maybe you can identify people, animals, plants, things, communities, organizations that you wish to touch with that new version of yourself. And allow it to become the picture of you. Because it is you. Fair enough? That's going to be a really, really, really good starting point for your next level of you that will simply become into existence, because you took a minute to recognize that little devilish part that maybe didn't feel good anymore, that you just committed to shifting, committed to doing something about. We simply have to uncover what we might have avoided, what we might have forgotten, maybe what we might have missed, that's just sitting there below the surface, waiting for the lights on the stage. Everything we bury is a seed. Every seed carries potential. Every potential inspires growth. Every growth introduces new levels. And we don't simply do this work for ourselves. We do this work for all that came before us, and we do this work for everybody who has yet to come.
Everything you buried, everything you buried, everything you buried, everything you lost and didn't grieve, everything you buried, everything you buried was a seed, a seed. Everything you buried, everything you thought would make you bleed, everything you buried, everything you buried was a seed, a seed. Under the surface and under the rug, slowly things you wouldn't speak of, out of your mind and under your breath, 'cause it was all too hard, it was all too much. Everything you buried, memories you thought you could delete, everything you buried, everything you buried was a seed, a seed. Stuffed down into a chamber of your heart, the years gave it space to grow in the dark. You never look back to see it's always been with you. You can't go around what you got to go through. It shows up as a shadow you cast on your own. It shows up in your children, it shows up in your home. It's in between your words, grazes everything you touch. Quietly lives as anger, shame, and as a grudge. It's in the fears and the doubts and all your neurosis. It's in the outcomes, your income, the final diagnosis. It lingers and teases till you can't deny it anymore, until one day it shows up uninvited at your door. But it's the friend of a friend, and all it wants to do is sit for a while and have its way with you. There are lessons of forgiveness and love, so much to hear. So lean in, breathe out, hold the message to your ear. And once you've felt the feels, you can send it on its way, and the seed will disappear, and the roots they will decay, and the price that you'll have paid, oh, such a meager sum, for the ones who came before, and those who've yet to come, for the ones who came before, and those who've yet to come, for the ones who came before, and those who've yet to come, yeah. Everything you buried, everything you buried, everything you buried, everything you buried was a seed, everything you buried, everything you buried, everything you buried, everything you buried was a seed, was a seed, was a seed, was a seed. Everything you buried was a seed, was a seed. Everything you buried, everything you buried, everything you buried, everything you buried was a seed. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.